Penang, the cultural and culinary capital of Malaysia. Once a bustling free port, this thriving hub attracted traders and merchants from far and wide, creating the harmonious melting pot of culture we find here today. Between its flashier neighbour of Singapore and its beachier neighbour of Phuket, this island can sometimes find itself overlooked by tourists on a Southeast Asian loop. So, with 4 days to soak in the diverse cultural sites, the wok fried food, and the picturesque countryside, we set out to discover what exactly Penang is all about. George Town is Penang's UNESCO-listed capital, best known for the art-stained walls that give it its creative, youthful charm. So, what better way to start our first morning in Penang than uncovering this open-air gallery for ourselves? Around each corner, or even inside fire stations, you will find local stories splashed across the walls, the most famous of which is Boy on a Bike, or my personal favourite, Little Boy and Pet Dinosaur. Dotted around the city are these wire sculptures, each revealing another little piece of Penang's history, in the quirky way so central to the fabric of this city. After waiting for a coffee in a line that just didn't seem to move, we gave up and headed to our next stop of the day, the Penang Peranakan Mansion. This striking blue mansion, not to be confused with the literal blue mansion, is a preserved home-turned-museum that gives visitors a glimpse into the opulent lifestyles and customs of the Peranakans, a hybrid culture that emerged as early Chinese settlers blended local practices with their own. Their history is best learnt through one of the many complimentary guided tours that run daily. Our tour guide, Stanley, was the perfect bubbly introduction to one of our favourite things about Malaysia: the people.
And you know these three things, your value will shoot up.
Feeling so immersed in history we could taste it, we decided to actually taste it. This Michelin guide spot opened in 1950 and serves up a delicious Hainan chicken rice that still has people lining up around corners. We quickly realised that the dine-in system was hover over someone while they eat and steal the table as soon as they're done. But the food was worth the chaos and fueled us up to keep exploring the city. Little India is a burst of colour and spice in this lively slice of the subcontinent, where Bollywood music spills out of stores. Historically a hub for Indian migrants, today it serves as a vibrant reminder of the Indian community's contribution to Penang, and is worth a stroll through to enjoy some authentic food and admire the bright garlands and rich fabrics. Kapitan Kaleng Mosque proudly stands as the oldest mosque in Penang and welcomes guests during visiting hours. We were given robes to wear and very kindly shown around this historic piece of architecture and important place of worship for many. At the recommendation of our new friend who took us on this tour, we had to stop at her favourite spot for cendol, a classic Malaysian dessert. Coconut milk, pandan jelly noodles, and palm sugar over shaved ice. A welcome cold treat for a humid Southeast Asian afternoon. If you've come expecting the nightlife of Phuket or Bali, you're in the wrong spot. Love Lane, punctuated by LED signs and wire sculptures, is full of life and character, but is more a relaxed spot to enjoy some hawker food and a tiger than its party-centric neighbours. This suited us just fine, and we set out for our first taste of Penang's most quintessential experience: the night markets. Our game plan at all night markets here was to put our faith in the people and find the stall with the longest line, which is exactly how we ended up at this famous wonton mee stall, serving up delicious wonton noodles with Chinese barbecue pork. Satisfied, we wandered back through George Town and said goodbye briefly to city life in preparation for tomorrow's expedition to the countryside. Balik Pulau literally translates to back of the island, and that's exactly where we were headed today, for a breath of fresh air and a taste of rural Malaysian life. The town of Balik Pulau maintains the artsy DNA of its city counterpart, and it was here that we pulled in for a homely bowl of a staple Malay dish, asam laksa. Kim Laksa is widely regarded as one of the best places to try it on the island. And let's just say that this Kim approved. The agricultural identity of this side of the island is shaped by its sprawling durian orchards, lush rice paddies, and cultivation of spices, like here at the Gee Hup Nutmeg Factory, where this family has been in business since 1953, leaving us wondering if there is anything this spice can't relieve. A popular way to see Balik Pulau is by bicycle. There are a few operators that run cycling tours, but I can't ride a bike, so it was back on our trusty scooter for our highlight of the day. A loop through the rice paddies, fishing villages, and beaches of the back of the island. In search of somewhere to satisfy the appetite we'd worked up on the road, we found this nasi kanda spot, and it ended up being the best thing we ate on our whole trip. It's a uniquely Penang dish originating from Tamil traders, and is essentially rice with mixed curries. We were relieved to find the people in front of us just as overwhelmed and unsure how to order as we were, but the man behind the counter took care of us and gave us the works, in all its spicy glory. For a much-needed dessert, we stopped in at Cookie Crumb's Bake Shop, which we had walked past the night before, and the smell emanating from the doors stopped us in our tracks. Needless to say, these were glorious. And with that, it was time to get off our feet. We'd need them for our morning hike. For nature lovers, a day in Penang National Park is unmissable. There are a range of different hikes you can do here, and beaches you can reach either by boat or on foot. The most popular route is to Monkey Beach, but we opted for the less chaotic sounding Turtle Beach, or Pantai Kerachut, about an hour-and-a-half hike from the park entrance. On our way, we passed this beach with monkeys, which was not Monkey Beach, and yet is not any beach a monkey beach if it has monkeys on it, so I'm counting that. And so we made it to the star of the show, the Turtle Conservation Centre, who pride themselves on conservation efforts, like protecting eggs from human and animal interference, and rehabbing injured turtles for re-release into the wild. Like this beautiful guy, who will get to see the big wide world again soon. If there's one thing Penang loves, it's an I heart sign. This one I can get behind.
Alright, let's do this.
It was at this point that a boat sounded pretty good.
The monkeys are scared of it.
On our drive back to the city, we stopped to marvel at this beautiful piece of cultural architecture. A mosque, built on stilts that gives it its famous floating appearance at high tide. And of course, it wouldn't be an attraction in Penang without one of these signs. Our final night in Georgetown called for one final stroll through a buzzing night market. And tonight, the longest line led us to one of Penang's most iconic dishes, char kway teow, for dinner and a show. It was here that we began feeling nostalgic already for these Georgetown nights. But our trip was not over yet. We still had one final day to explore before tomorrow's evening flight. Penang Hill is one of Penang's most popular tourist attractions. But this strange Disneyland-esque place left us with more questions than answers. Like, why are there capybaras here? And why would I want to experience a real earthquake and typhoon? We were feeling increasingly concerned for the morning we'd planned for ourselves. But once we made it to the habitat, all our questions were answered. The habitat is a rainforest eco-park that definitely had the potential to be a kitsch extension of the rest of Penang Hill's vibes, but it was genuinely very well done and felt a world away from whatever this was. The mossy paths led us onto the world's longest two-span stressed ribbon bridge, giving Langkawi's longest free-span curved suspension bridge a run for its money. But more on that in our Langkawi video. This is the Langa Way Canopy Walk, and if you're lucky, you might spot some of the wildlife that give this walk its name.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm trying to stick that another 2 months and it dropped.
Oh, really?
Right.
Our final stop was a 25-minute rainy walkaway, and after some durian spotting, we turned a corner and saw our destination towering over us in the distance. The Kek Lok Si Temple Complex is the largest in Malaysia, spanning up the hillside with layers of pagodas, shrines, and pavilions, drawing the eye up to the goddess of mercy. The epitome of compassion and unconditional love, Kuan Yin translates fittingly to the one who hears the cries of the world. It is under her protective gaze that the rest of the complex lies, safe and extraordinarily peaceful. And so it was time to say goodbye to the island that had welcomed us with such open arms. but we left with the sense that it was a place we'd soon be back to. It is rare to find a place so eclectic in mixing and melting cultures as Penang, where mosques, shrines, and temples sit shoulder to shoulder in streets that are paved with the history from the people that wove the cultural tapestry of the Penang we find today. And after 4 days soaking up everything this island has to offer, we can truly leave saying, I heart Penang.